court says it will take up President Obama's executive action on immigration this term. The court could decide whether his decision to keep millions of undocumented immigrants from being deported violates the Constitution. President Obama's controversial executive action allows more than 4 million undocumented immigrants whose children are U.S. citizens to apply for work permits and avoid being deported temporarily.
We've got a strong argument to make, both in terms of the legal ground on which we're operating, but also in terms of the practical impact, positive impact, that these executive actions will have.
The president laid out his vision back in 2014.
You'll be able to apply to stay in this country temporarily without fear of deportation. You can come out of the shadows and get right with the law. That's what this deal is.
But so far, that hasn't happened. 26 states, including Alabama, filed a lawsuit blocking it from taking effect, accusing the president of abusing his power by going around Congress. The Supreme Court will hear the arguments in April and would likely issue its ruling in June, just before the conventions in the middle of the presidential campaign season. And no matter what that ruling is, the outcome of the election could impact the future of that program.
The window of time that people have to come forward is much more narrow. And the big if is the fact that this is a temporary program. A new president, whether it was Democrat or Republican, could very well cancel this. And there's so much confusion in the immigrant community over what to do.
So here's a little perspective on deportations in our country. During the last fiscal year, there were 235,000 people who were deported. Now, the record high on deportations in the U.S. was in 2012, when 409,000 people were deported.